What do you do when you have put a ad together, you've created some content, you've uploaded into your Facebook ads manager, then you come back the next day and it's just not performing the way that it was meant to? If you listen to yesterday's episode, you'll know that I'm in the early stages of moving into the next phase of my strategy. So over the past month or so, I've been creating some longer form content with the aim of purely just getting people to watch and collect as many 25% views as I can. Yesterday, I posted my very first retargeting, or was meant to be retargeting. I'll get onto that in a moment, but very first reel that is designed to solve a really small problem and have people put their hand up and reach out for a resource that I'll put together that will help them solve that little problem. So the goal was to have comments on the post itself and to move those comments into conversations through Messenger. And I'm not sure what I actually expected when I got up today and checked my ads manager. But today I do want to talk about the experience that I had when I saw absolutely zero comments on that post. If you've been struggling with the problem of too much to do and not enough time in the day to get it done, I've got a brand new resource that might be exactly what you need to actually get some time back. It's a simple process. It'll take you 5 minutes each day and can get you up to 3 hours a day back that can be reallocated to the things that are going to actually move the needle. If this sounds interesting, simply reach out and let me know and it's all yours. Hello and welcome back to the From Zero to Marketing Hero podcast. My name's Paul Heron. I'm a life coach and entrepreneur that's been building a successful one-on-one coaching business over the last 5 years. During this time, I've worked with many of my clients to help them build habits that keep them improving every single day. Together, we've set up simple, dependable routines that boost their confidence and success and the level of fulfillment they achieve in both work and at home. This podcast is my latest effort at pushing myself out of my comfort zone. Over the last 5 years, I've predominantly outsourced my marketing, but I recently decided this is the year that I'm going to sort this stuff out, take responsibility, and figure out marketing once and for all. So I decided to create, upload a podcast episode every single day for a year to document my journey and give you guys a bit of an insight into all the highs and lows along the way. So without any further ado, let's get into today's episode where I'm sharing my feeling, my results. Maybe it's even one of the lows that I mentioned there, but just my overall experience of waking up today and not seeing the results that I was kind of hoping for on an ad I posted yesterday on my Facebook ads manager. Now, that's a bit tongue-in-cheek, I guess. I didn't really have any expectations, but there was still an element of racing to my phone. I don't keep my phone with me when I sleep. It's charging downstairs in my office. But there was this sense of wanting to get up and check the ads manager and just see. In the back of my mind, I was hoping that I would see some engagement, some comments on the post that I was testing. So I raced downstairs. It was pretty much the first thing I did, picked up my phone, had a quick look, and there were absolutely none. No likes, no comments. And for a split second, there was this feeling of, oh man, that wasn't the plan. And that question that sort of comes up regularly for me of, man, how am I going to figure this stuff out? And I thought this is the perfect thing to talk about today, because I think for most content creators, this is the stuff that does not get broadcast. You know, it's very easy to talk about the things that do go to plan. And it almost leads to this situation where we're kind of exaggerating everything. You know, social media in general makes us feel the grass is always greener on the other side in some ways, because we're typically only getting the highlight reel of everybody's life that we're spying in on, I guess. And I think as part of this journey, it's really important to be sharing all the experiences that I feel along the way. So if you caught yesterday's episode, the post I'm referring to was pretty much my first attempt at putting a short 60-second reel together to target people to raise their hand and request a copy of the small offer that I put together. And it's actually the very same offer that I mentioned at the start of this podcast today. It's the offer that suggests that if you are short on time, if you're constantly feeling that there aren't enough hours in the day, then I have a solution that can potentially get you 3 hours back. Now, in my mind, this makes absolutely perfect sense. I know this is something that has helped myself and many of my clients reclaim their most valuable resource and reallocate it to things that are actually going to move the needle. So it is huge. So what does this all mean? And I just want to take a moment to zoom back out to the overall bigger picture. I posted this ad early evening my time last night, and I woke up early this morning and checked my results. Now, although there was an expectation and eagerness, I was hoping to see a comment potentially, there are a few things that I need to put into perspective. I am still the absolute beginner at this. This is my first attempt at putting a reel together that was in line with my strategy. And there's a couple of interesting things that I want to talk to. My goal was to retarget the people who have been watching my videos. Now, I don't know whether it's a technical problem or I just don't quite have enough views yet. I need to look into this and I'll spend a bit of time on this today. But I couldn't figure out how to retarget to that audience. So this actual ad that went out yesterday was going to a completely cold audience. So that's the first thing to keep in mind. And I am actually going to keep testing this to a cold audience because I know that if I can start getting some engagement at a cold audience level, it's going to further validate the offers that I'm putting out there. So I'm going to let this run for a little while. So first thing to note is it actually went to a cold audience and not the warm audience as per my strategy. So it's actually not me testing out my strategy just yet. The second thing to note is this ad has been going for less than 12 hours. It's far too short, far too soon to even be able to pull any valuable information from the statistics that are currently visible. Now, my strategy is to run these ads for €5 a day for the course of a week and pretty much to not even look at those ads until the week's up. I know my eager self needed to get up and check the results this morning, and ultimately, I think that's just my ego rather than anything else. It would have been nice to see some engagement, but I was very quickly able to put things into perspective and understand, man, I've just got to let this run its course. And only then will I be able to do an analysis and decide whether this is working, whether it gets turned off, or whether this one stays on. And either way, I continue to create more of these and try to beat the personal best that I've got at that point in time. Now, the measurement for these particular reels is going to be all about comments. If I'm allocating €5 a day, it comes down to how many comments and requests these posts are getting per day. And that will be the easiest way to measure one against the other. Right now, I'm still yet to get a comment, so it's going to be difficult. If there are no comments at the end of the week, I just simply turn that ad off and I will continue to create more. As I've mentioned, this is a long-term project. I'm looking at this over the next 90 days. And I know that if I continuously create content, if I create a reel a day, for example, for the next 90 days, then surely there are going to be versions that I create that produce the result that I'm looking for. The next point I want to raise is that there are just so many variables. There are any number of things that I could be measuring. What I've decided to measure is the 3-second hold rate, the 15-second hold rate, and comments, as I mentioned earlier. Comments is the ultimate goal, I guess, and that's ultimately what's going to decide. But I think looking at the ways that I am trying to get people's attention, trying to get that scroll stopped, is something that's definitely worth paying attention to. So at the end of this week, I'll hopefully have this reel up. I'll have hopefully another couple of versions up for this week as well over the next coming days. But that's another metric that I'm going to be looking at. I'm going to be looking at how successful they were in stopping the scroll and holding their attention, as well as comments. And that's going to give me just enough to work with, I think. And I just want to finish off today by just coming back to that feeling of disappointment. Is it disappointment? Maybe there is an element of that. When we're expecting a certain result and we just don't get the result that we're hoping we might get. And I think in this particular instance, we've just got to accept responsibility. I know that I've spoken about it just not being enough time yet, that I am the absolute beginner at this. I need to put those things into perspective. But ultimately, I need to understand that if I'm not getting the results that I'm looking for, then what I'm producing and what I'm creating just isn't quite up to scratch just yet. And that's not a negative. That's the reality of where I'm currently at. And it's actually quite empowering in some ways. It puts the onus and responsibility back on me to go back out there and keep at this, to keep creating, keep coming up with new ideas, keep testing different variants, keep testing different things until I land on the things that are actually going to get that desired result. And right now, it's literally just one comment. If I can have $5 ads running that I can trust and rely on to produce one comment per day, that would be a fantastic starting point. That becomes something that I can trust and rely on and becomes the target that I need to improve on. Then it becomes, how can I get a reel or an ad that gets 2 comments a day for the same price? It gives me that target to work towards. So all in all, not quite exactly what I was expecting. It's a win nonetheless. Just the fact that I have taken this action. I did post that ad yesterday. I'm excited about what the next week holds. And I'm in motion with this is absolutely huge. So there is no downside. It's just continuously improving and continuously taking the steps that I know I need to be taking. And that's going to be the goal again this week. So I hope you've got some value there from me sharing something that hasn't quite gone to plan. I'd love to know your thoughts. If you have any ideas, suggestions, reach out and let me know. Would love to hear from you. If you would like to come onto the show and talk about this stuff, I would love to have you on board. You can head over to my website. It's paulheronlifecoaching.com. That's Heron with 1 R, Heron. There's a few different ways you can reach out there, but there is a specific form you can fill in to make an inquiry about coming onto the show. So head over there, reach out, and we can connect soon. If you would like a little bit more time back each and every day, 3 hours, in fact, every day, reach out, let me know. My resources, my free gift to you. It's a simple Google Doc with all the steps lined out that you need to take. I've got a quick 5-minute video as well to guide you through it and let you know how I use it. So if this sounds interesting, reach out, let me know where to send it, and it's all yours. And finally, if you are enjoying the show, take a moment to hit pause, hit subscribe. It really does go a long way in sharing the show with a wider audience. And until tomorrow, have a fantastic day. Bye for now.